How do you think this game will unfold, and what do you think is going to be a key factor from this game?
I think it has a chance to be a high-scoring game. And to be honest, if it's the higher the score gets, the better the chance it is that UCF wins that game because they have so much talent on the outside. But Boise State has some athletes on the outside as well. Khalil Shakir, C.T. Thomas, those are guys that are just burners out there. And Shakir is a guy that's a probably top 15 receiver in the country. You know, he's a guy that's going to get some NFL draft buzz this postseason. So I think the receivers are going to get most of the publicity. But I think this game is decided on the ground. You talked about UCF's running game. You talked about how Gus Malzahn wants to run the ball. Boise State is desperate to run the ball this year. They really struggled last year. George Holani missed all but really one game. They only averaged 107.1 rushing yards a game last season. That's the fewest in 2 decades around here. Boise State relies on the running game. They've really invested in that in this offseason. They brought in Oregon transfer Cyrus Habibi-Likio, who's really a guy that's similar to George Holani in that he can do a little bit of everything. He's got some power. He's got some speed. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think he's going to kind of be he and Holani are going to be a good 1-2 punch this year. They also have a JUCO transfer, Tyquan Tyler, who missed last season with a Achilles injury. He's really, really versatile, really explosive as well. Then they have a big body back, Andrew Van Buren, who carried the load last year, led the Mountain West with 8 rushing touchdowns. He's probably weighing 240 pounds these days. Not super explosive, but can definitely move the line, can get those tough yards. So if Boise State can run the ball, I think they win the game. If they can't, UCF runs away with it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think that people have found is if you can't keep up with UCF offensively, and if you let them score a lot of points quickly, it becomes a track meet, and it's very few teams have been able to kind of to stay up with them in a track meet when it comes down said and done.
The number one emotion I'm feeling is just excitement as a whole. You know, I think some people forget I haven't coached in a game since November of 2019, right? So it's been a long, long time. So I'm just excited and I'm relishing every day, you know, even being on the practice field today on the grass with beautiful weather, coaching up guys, knowing there's a game this week. I mean, all that stuff. I haven't felt that in a long time. So I'm very excited. I know the guys are just focused on our execution and playing at the level that we hope we can play at and know we can play at. And so, yeah, I'm very excited for those guys to go out there and operate it and have some fun. I know they're excited, looking forward to it. I definitely think with the best guys on your roster at all positions, you know, a good OC is going to say, hey, we got to get this guy the ball as much as we can, right? So obviously George is a guy that we feel really good about, but we feel good about a lot of guys in that room. And so I imagine that every week you'll have a number of guys that get carries, but obviously some will get more than others. So we'll rotate it from a series by series basis. Sometimes it'll be more about personnel and matchups. And so it'll be kind of a weekly decision on how we divvy those up and who's healthy and all that.
You know, they've been through a lot, you know, from COVID to guys even here prior to that, to the ups and downs of that, to dealing with some of those things. Some of these guys dealing with injuries from last year that are back now, that have battled to get them back to the position where they're in today. So I honestly just cannot be more excited for our players to have this atmosphere, to go play one of the top teams around. I just can't wait for our guys because they deserve that opportunity. They've worked their tail off and they deserve that opportunity. And it is huge, you know, having guys that have been in these games, been in big games before, understand what it is, and that this isn't new to them. Obviously, first game, you know, going to be a packed house from everything we hear. You know, all those things are going to go into it. But we do have guys that return that understand who we are in defense and what we want to be. I think first and foremost, you're just going to see our boys pursue. You know, we will be relentless to start the game. Our guys are going to fly around. There's no doubt in my mind. We're prepared for that. And then the big one that I'm excited for our guys to do is just communicate, be on the same page. You know, UCF and Coach Malzahn do a great job creating different looks, and they've obviously had a whole year to prepare for this game as well. And so excited to see some of the things they do. And our guys are going to have their rules, but they're going to go out there and communicate, and they're going to be relentless. Those are the big things, especially early on in the game, that we're preaching, and I know our guys are going to do early on and consistently do.